Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And normally, for those who follow me on Facebook or YouTube, I generally will present a storyline to you, preface it with some of the qualifying factors in the story, even my opinion, give you the story, and then give you the conclusion to what I think, here again, opinion-based, on what that story is about. A lot of times I try to pick unique stories that kind of sell themselves, or try to pick things that people haven't heard about. We all have busy lives. Nobody's sitting around watching the news all day. I am an avid reader, so I try to pick unique stories that make sure that our five senses are heightened, and we're keeping our head on a swivel and paying attention to all the things that are around us. This is a crazy world that we live in today. This is March 1st. We just got through with Black History Month. And guess what? The United States, President Trump and Israel decided to bomb Iran. So there is a lot going on. But I want to talk about a couple of things that I see where America's problems are destroying America right inside our own country that nobody is talking about. And in the 50 or 60 years that I've been on this earth, there's some things that I'm seeing on a daily basis that I've never seen before. And nobody's talking about it. And we need to talk about it, and we need to raise our level of, put this in the forefront of our consciousness, and we need to hold our legislators and our politicians accountable. I am an independent. I'm not Republican or Democrat. My fight is against the system, this white male, predominantly dominated, wealthy, patriarchal system of the likes of, our Donald Trumps, even our Joe Bidens, whether they're on one side of the aisle or the other, there's still a white male patriarchal system that's in place that has a subterfuge of racism, sexism, and all those things are attached to it. But the things I want to talk about today that you see every day that nobody's talking about is the opioid crisis, the homelessness, the level of panhandling that we see in today's time, and untreated mental illness. All those things go together. And the last one would be prostitution. I want to talk about, encapsulate all five of those and what is going on in our world today where you're seeing this high level of panhandling. It's not just in the city, north or south. You're seeing people panhandling in Clayton, in Ladue, at stoplights, off highway ramps, in St. Charles, all over South County. There is not a race, creed, or color or zip code delineating the difference. You're seeing black people, white people. I'm seeing the majority of the panhandling taking place has been white folks, male or female. And guess what? They're all humans. I do not play the race identity issues in life. People are people, and I don't want to see anyone suffering. And we're seeing a high deluge of individuals that are panhandling North County everywhere. And what is that all about? Well, part of it is coming from Purdue Pharma, the Sackler family. I've done a few videos on the Sackler family out of New York. And for those that don't know, they're the creator of Oxycontin. They own Purdue Pharma, and they started giving Oxycontin to people in high demand back in the early 90s, which some corroborate and say has led to this opioid crisis. Well, there is a high inundation of fentanyl. We know crack, cocaine, and a deluge of other illicit drugs that are out here on the streets. And people are doing anything and everything to get it. And that's where the prostitution falls in line for women. Whether it should be legal or not legal, that's not my issue. But I do think we have an entire society or segment of society that is self-medicating themselves with street drugs and playing Russian roulette each and every day that they do it. I mean, back in the 80s, in the era that I grew up in, your street drug was marijuana. Of course, crack cocaine got introduced, but it was marijuana. Now you can't buy, if I wouldn't dare take a chance and buy any uh, marijuana, even though I don't do marijuana. I wouldn't dare even take an aspirin from somebody off the streets. There are so many drugs that are that have Finney in it. You just never know. I mean, people are dropping dead from smoking a joint because it's got other illegal, illicit drugs in it that can kill you, as we all know. And I know many, many families. Here again, white, black, it does not matter, rich or poor. The opioid crisis has hit my family before. And it does not matter whether it's Ladue, St. Charles County, Jefferson County is supposed to be the meth capital of the United States. Jefferson County, and that is a high population of white people. Um, and what goes along with this opioid crisis. So overdoses like crazy. You can't maintain a job, so that leads to homelessness and helplessness. And whether you didn't have mental illness before you started doing drugs, you definitely will have it afterwards. Even the street marijuana is very different. These hybrids and all this stuff, very different than back in the 80s. What is our system in society doing? Are we trying to drug and have a zombie-like state of an entire generation of individuals? And what will that lead to? Well, the pipeline to prison. Also, the pipeline to the cemetery. Is this population control? Nobody's putting pressure or protesting the inept inner city schools that we have here, where kids in the 9th grade are reading on the 4th grade level. And I'm going to keep saying it until something changes, until we make our administrators, our superintendents accountable for these kids. I know it starts in the home. There are way too many fatherless homes. We need better mentorship. We've got to take our community, instead of community policing, which Black Lives Matter was all about, we need to take our communities back and build foundational structure, a God-fearing, God-based relationship. We need more males in these communities, uncles, fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers. That's the kind of community policing and gathering that we need, because our communities are falling apart. And it's not divided by city or suburb, because people in the suburbs or the county who think that these issues, the opioid crisis, homelessness, untreated mental illness, prostitution, is not in the county or the suburbs, they're 1,000% incorrect. If they think this is a minority or a color issue, white America is incorrect. This is a people issue, a humanity issue, a morality issue, an ethical issue. And I'm wondering, is our system, our governmental system, this, many of these individuals, whether it's Mega or some of these other folks that are starch Republicans or starch Democrats, who will die for their beliefs in their particular party, none of them are saying anything about these crises that we are having. The level of panhandling is out of control. Am I bothered by driving? No. Do I try to help and give $1 or $2? Yes. But I'm saying we need to say something about it. People are just driving and putting blinders on and not saying anything about what's happening to our society. And the younger generation behind us, the level of disrespect, the level of unappreciable education. Nobody wants to go to school. They want to chase the bag by any means necessary. Everybody wants to be an athlete, an entertainer, a social media star. And that's not what life is about. Education is the foundational tool and key to your freedom and success. It's been like that since the start of our United States Constitution. What did Black people fight for during the Civil Rights Movement? During the Jim Crow era. It all starts and stops with here. Life is a journey and not a destination point. The day you stop learning, The day you stop learning is the day you stop living. And we have to do something about this. When you talk about untreated mental illness, look what happened to Rob Reiner and his wife, and they were killed by their own son. And these were high net worth, well-respected producers in LA. That just recently happened. And so we're talking about the opioid issue. We're talking about untreated mental illness, hopelessness. Here recently, the well-known white comedian Martin Short, who's in his 70s, came from Saturday Night Live, was actually going on tour. Martin Short and Steve Martin have a group comedy thing that they do, and they were going to be coming to St. Louis soon. His daughter just recently allegedly committed suicide. Another wealthy white guy, well-known and well-known, well-respected. His daughter just allegedly committed suicide a few days ago. We've got to talk about some of these pillars that are fragmented and falling apart in our society today. And the Skid Row, there's over 100,000 people on Skid Row in LA, in Los Angeles County, called Skid Row. 100,000 homeless individuals. The opioid crisis is off the chain there. Prostitution, untreated mental illness, assaults, murders. It goes down the line. We need to have conversations about this. The entire state of California is being decimated with the opioid crisis, homelessness, untreated mental illness. Phoenix, Arizona, Kensington, Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia. I'm actually going to do a story on them in the next day or two. It is a huge opioid city in Kensington, Pennsylvania. So Chicago, any of our major cities, but the entire state of California is being decimated. And we need to talk about this. We're going to lose an entire generation. And then on top of that, while kids in the 9th grade, 10th grade are reading on the 4th and 5th grade level, we have artificial intelligence that is moving at usurpian speeds that the average human mind can't even keep up with. If you're in manufacturing, distribution, warehouse work, even farming, machinery is going to take over. Humanoid androids or humanoid technological machines are going to take over. So anything that's repetitive and in distribution, that is going to be replace man and woman with a machine. So our educational tools are going down, our technological tools are going up, and there's no middle ground. And we need to change those things. So I just want to have a voice. Tell me what you think about these issues in America, and we need to change those soon.